interesting because Lua's origins actually date back to Hurricane Katrina. Can you tell us how you started and developed the project?
Yeah, so as I got my start, I was working with a company that was providing communications for first responders out in the field down in Louisiana. What I began to realize was the critical break in their workflow was a lack of communication off their mobile devices. We began developing a system to help people in the field and now have expanded into enterprises across the world.
So what makes it better than any other enterprise messaging service out there? What makes it better than Slack?
I think the evolution of the workplace has shown that mobile devices are being used more than ever in history. Lua has been around for 5.5 years, and our infrastructure was developed for the mobile device first. If you look at the way that the world is moving, 89% of the U.S. is now using their mobile device, and most of them are citing messaging as their primary workflow tool. Since the majority of the Fortune 500 has not provided any secure mobile-first messaging to their end users, we've seen a really rapid acceleration in growth in the last 6 to 8 months.
You have a range of clients, so I want to talk about the U.S. Army, for example. What is it about Lua that particularly fits their needs?
For them, the biggest workflow has been communication in the field, especially as they've evolved to better technology in the field. That's a group that we're not allowed to go too much into. But another great example is United Airlines. They're a group we've been working with for the past few months, and helping them with airport efficiency across the country has really begun to improve the travel industry.
On the other hand, you have clients like Spotify that use both Lua and Slack. Why is that?
I think that really begins to show where Lua stands out in the workplace. We've had a relationship with Spotify for some time now. As Slack was introduced into the engineering team, the rest of the organization began to take a look at it, and the comments around their usage of Slack was, for the sales side, for the business side, for the operations and marketing side, Slack was a bit too noisy, really designed for the desktop worker first. And so we've been able to scale with them initially at the Cannes festival this summer, and we've continued to grow that relationship since then.
Now, the holy grail of sort of enterprise communication has been increasing productivity, getting rid of email pileup. What do you think is missing in corporate communications right now? How do we become more efficient?
I think at the end of the day, it's being smart about the way that you use your communication tools. The way that we developed Lua really works within an EMM, Enterprise Mobility Management Suite. You're always provided files, email, calendaring, but when most of the Fortune 500 isn't providing messaging, that's where Lua really comes into play. So I think it's about being smart about the way that you communicate. A big feature of Lua is not just the messaging and file sharing, but the international conference calling. The ability to press one click, get 10 to 20, 30 people on the phone instantly allows you to have less meetings. The small inefficiencies in the day are around too many meetings, too many emails going around. I think what we excel at is shaving seconds across your workflow, no matter if you're in an airport, if you're in a hotel, you work at a financial institution. We all use our mobile devices more than anything, and I think today it's just about being smart and respecting everyone's time.
Do you think email is going to die someday, or is email here to stay stubbornly?
I think what's great about email is that it's a way that anyone in the world can communicate with anyone else. I think where Lua really excels is focusing on the internal workflow of your communication. A lot of our clients say, when we get an email, when we get a Slack notification, it's a bit noisy. We might not get to it immediately. But every time we hear a Lua ding, we know it's important. We know it's from a coworker. It's internal. It's most likely critical communication. And that really begins to relieve your inbox. And so I'm not sure if email is going anywhere. But if you can shave 40 to 50% of your internal emails and just eliminate that workflow, that's where Lua really comes in. And when you look at your email inbox, it's a bit of a relief.